What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 18 online game. The Seahawks versus Packers matchup is one of the most anticipated games for the opening week of the new NFL season, and for good reason. The rivalry between these two teams since Russell Wilson took over the helm at the quarterback position for the Seahawks, it's been an interesting one. It was the Hail Mary. You remember the NFC Championship game when the Packers had them against the ropes. They somehow came back, got that onside kick. Lately, though, it's been all Green Bay. The past couple of matchups, especially in the regular season, Green Bay's had their number. And it happened again last year. They handled the Seahawks pretty well. And Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't seem to be afraid of this Legion of Boom defense at all. Well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem to be afraid of any defense. So, let me correct my phrasing right there. But against the Seahawks, he does very well against them. And for that reason, I think that the Packers will win this opening matchup against the Seahawks. I think that this rivalry would be a little bit more one-sided than people think it is if the proper outcomes actually came through in the Hail Mary game and that NFC Championship game. Both games that the Packers, the Hail Mary game, the Packers won it. It's just there was a blown call in the other game. They just blew the lead at the end. But yeah, so I would say the Packers would win. What we're going to do is we're going to be doing our predictions for all the Week 1 NFL games, just trying to have some fun with this thing. And we'll see how well I do throughout the season, how well my picks do. Could be really good, could be really bad. We usually do this every single year, so we'll see how it goes. So Jets versus Bills is a game that's happening. And not only is it a game that's happening, it's actually a game for first place in the AFC East since the New England Patriots lost on opening night as we rock Russell Wilson right there, but he gets the ball back. I think the Buffalo Bills win this game. I really don't have much faith in the New York Jets to do much. The Bills aren't too hot themselves, but I mean, in games like this, you kind of just lean towards the home team, and the Bills are home. So we're going to take the Bills in this game. Not really too concerned about this one and the eventual outcome of the NFL season besides draft order. Jaguars versus Titans is an interesting matchup, mainly because Blake Bortles has been heavily scrutinized so far this preseason and for the most part of his NFL career, and he's got to step it up at some point. Going against the Houston Texans defense might not be the time to step up, though. I think this defense is just too good for Bortles. Tom Savage will be at the quarterback position for the Houston Texans, so it's not like they have much going on for them. But I just think the Houston Texans are a more well-rounded team than the Jaguars. I really like the Jaguars defense. They made a ton of improvements the last couple of years. Now they got Boye as a shutdown corner from the Houston Texans, which could affect both teams. We'll see how that matches up. Boye might follow around DeAndre Hopkins, his former teammate. We'll see what kind of matchups they go with that end as that pass is bombed downfield. But I do think the Texans win this game. I'm just not really. I like the Jaguars defense a lot. I'm just not a big fan of Blake Bortles. Moving on to the next game, Steelers versus Browns. I think the Steelers win this game. I don't think the Browns are as bad as many people might think they are. They have like a lot of young talent, but not against the Steelers. Not against Big Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben. Last time these two teams played, though, it was a meaningless Week 17 game, but it was almost won by the Cleveland Browns. So keep that in mind. The Browns and Steelers, they have some really wacky games sometimes, as division rivals always seem to do. But I do have the Steelers in this game. Cardinals and Lions, this should be a really good game. I'm really on the fence on this one because the Lions, you just never know what they can do in that fourth quarter with Matt Stafford. The Cardinals, they blew so many games last year, but I think the Cardinals right the ship and get a nice Week 1 victory. Their defense should be looking a little bit better, especially with the Honey Badger healthy once again. He had a pretty nice interception during the preseason. Carson Palmer, it's all about taking away those interceptions. And speaking of turnovers, we've turned it over right there. But I do have the Arizona Cardinals winning this game. It should be a good game, though. Both teams that were, the Lions made the playoffs. The Cardinals were on path to make the playoffs, had some bad losses. The Buccaneers and Dolphins game is postponed, so we're not going to worry about that one. That's going to take place in like Week 11, I believe, whenever their bye weeks is. So, instead of going over that game, I'll just, say I'm sending out my prayers to everyone in Florida. I really hope, everyone that's down there doesn't get wrecked too badly because it's a Category 5 hurricane. But we can't, realistically looking at it, it's not going to be good. But just sending my prayers out to everyone down there that is going to be affected by Hurricane Irma. And everyone that already has been affected by the hurricane in the Caribbean, all those islands. The Key West got destroyed. U.S. Virgin Islands, a bunch of places got destroyed. So, Bahamas, all those places. So definitely sending prayers out to everyone, especially people who are watching this video that are down there. I hope you and your family are doing well. Now getting back into the video, Falcons and Bears. The Falcons kind of got lobbed. A nice little easy game to start off the season. Nice little confidence booster after blowing that lead in the Super Bowl. I do think the Falcons win this game. The Falcons, I feel like, are one of the best teams depth-wise in the NFL, and that should definitely take care of the Bears. The Bears are starting Mike Glennon, too, on top of that. They're not even putting Trubisky out there. They're letting Trubisky sit a little bit, learn behind Glennon, and you know, the Bears aren't really primed to win this year. They're definitely looking towards the future, and the Falcons are looking towards now, and as a result of that, I said the Falcons go on the road and beat Chicago. Raiders and Titans. This should be a really good one. This is another one I was on the fence on. Ultimately, I ended up taking the Raiders. I think the Raiders might be able to clutch out a late-game victory, but this should be a really interesting game. The Titans have not the worst defense in the world. They have a little bit of underrated defense. This is Marshawn Lynch's return game to the NFL. A lot of exciting things happening. Mariota coming back from that injury. He should be fresh and ready to go. Got a ton of weapons on that Titans offense now. They really stacked it up, that offensive line. Both offensive lines, two of the best offensive lines in the NFL going at this game. So it might be a lot of smash mouth football, as well as Blair Walsh, the new Seahawk, misses a field goal that would have given his team the lead. Ravens and Bengals. Joe Flacco is playing in this game, but how effective will Joe Flacco be? We'll have to see. How good is this Ravens team? We'll have to see. I think the Bengals are actually pretty good this year, and I would say the Bengals win this week 1 matchup. They got AJ Green and Tyler Eifert in the lineup at the same time with Andy Dalton and Tyler Boyd as well, who I think is a pretty decent receiver. We'll just have to wait on that one. Brandon LaFell's also on that team, so I think that they just gotta. I really do like the Bengals. I don't know about making the playoffs. It's gonna be borderline for them, but I really do like the Bengals roster this year. So I will say that they beat the Ravens. Keep in mind that I'm no expert, so I might just pick a lot of stuff wrong. So don't get too hard on me if I don't pick your team. I'm just picking what I see, what I think is gonna happen. But moving on, Eagles and Redskins. This is an NFC East game, and NFC East games you really never know what can happen in these games. I think the Redskins might be able to squeak out a victory. This could be a game that ends up like 21-31 or something like that, as well as the Eagles defense might be. You know, the Redskins lost a lot of weapons, so we'll see how it might take a while for Kirk Cousins to adjust to these guys, but Jordan Reed is in the lineup for now, and whenever Jordan Reed's in the lineup, that adds a lot to the Redskins team. And of course, Redskins always find a way to run the football, and whoever the running back is, right now it's going to be Rob Kelly. They should be able to get that done. I like the Eagles this year. I don't really feel too good about them winning this matchup on the road against the Redskins in week 1. Colts and Rams. Scott Tolzien is taking the field instead of Andrew Luck. Don't feel too good about that. We're going to take the Rams in that game. Panthers and 49ers. We're going to take the Panthers in this game. I think the Panthers are going to, the last season was a little bit of an off season for them. Cam's health is a little bit of an issue, but against the 49ers, it really shouldn't be too much of a problem. I really don't have much faith for the 49ers this season. They're obviously another team that's building towards the future, not for now. I think the Panthers go on the road and win that game, but I think that game could be a little bit closer than you may think. I don't think the Panthers come out there and blow them out. It might be a low-scoring game. Seahawks and Packers, we ran over that. I think the Packers win the game. Giants and Cowboys. Yeah, I'm not too sure the Giants win this game, mainly because Odell Beckham Jr.'s injury. Well, Brandon Marshall and Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram, the new weapons for the Giants, and Sterling Shepard in the second year, but those guys will really have to step up. But Odell, I really don't think if he plays, he's going to be anywhere close to 100%. And the Cowboys got Ezekiel Elliott, and the one thing about the Giants is they really shut down Zeke both times they played. So despite all this, I think it's going to be a close game, but, the Cowboys, they've been knocking on the door beating the Giants. They came really close 2 times last year, but they lost twice last year. I think this is the time they finally come through at home in week 1, get the win on Sunday Night Football. I mean, I'm praying the Giants win the game, but I'm not too optimistic. But I really like our defense as far as, making sure the Cowboys don't score 30-plus points. So we should be able to keep the game relatively close, and we'll see what happens. I think the Cowboys get through in the 4th quarter, but you never know. I'm praying the Giants win, though. Saints and Vikings. That should be a fun Monday Night Football game. You got the Vikings defense versus Drew Brees and the Saints offense, who is now lacking Brandon Cooks. I think the Vikings win the game. I think the Vikings should be able. It's a good matchup for them because the Vikings they're just trying to get their new and somewhat improved offensive line going on the road here. They've put some new pieces in there. We'll see how that works out for them. And going against the Saints, they're not really the scariest defense out there. They haven't done enough to improve it, I don't think. So I'm not too down on Sam Bradford. I know a lot of people don't like him too much, but I think Bradford actually gets the job done pretty decently for the Vikings and well enough to win this game at least against the Saints. Now, the final game, Chargers and Broncos. This is a tricky one. It's a very tricky one because you got Phillip Rivers, who traditionally doesn't play the worst against the Broncos, but you also got the Broncos playing in Mile High. Trevor Siemian going to be the starting quarterback once again. Will year 2 of Trevor Siemian be any better than year 1 of Trevor Siemian? We'll just have to wait and see on that one. I think the Chargers win the game. But I have like a gut feeling that the Broncos might just, pull it out defensively as they come to do. But we'll have to see. I think the Chargers win the game. But I think Phillip Rivers has a pretty good game and wins it. So we'll see what happens, though. I think the Broncos can easily win that one. Leave a like in the video if you guys enjoyed these predictions. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you guys have any predictions of your own. And I will catch you guys next time.